All right.
Yeah, live.
Yes, we are. What's
I'm
up,
good.
everybody? My name is Andy. I'm also joined with Danny Walsh, who is one of my team members on the ClickFunnels community outreach team and also a super ambassador. So cool. So happy to have you with us, Danny, and just be able to hear your tips and strategies and expertise. I know that you've been helping people in the ClickFunnels group forever. So thank
Yeah.
you so much. And so what is this about? Well, yesterday we started this series called the Build a Business series. And we're doing the series, we're going live every day this week at the very same time. And what we're doing is we're actually building a business from scratch. Now, we're not doing the entire business, that would be a little bit more work, but what we're doing is we're showing you the framework, okay, the basics. Yesterday, what we did is we focused on the foundation, some of the concepts that are really important when you're starting out a business. For example, how to identify a problem and then come up with a solution in your niche. Also, what is a niche? How do you choose a niche? So if you want to watch yesterday's replay, just look for it in the Facebook group. It is there. In fact, all of our live videos are going to be recorded and they'll be saved into the group. Now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, we're actually going to build a funnel. Okay, so yesterday we talked about our entrepreneur. Her name is Susan, and actually, Danny, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Susan and the concept and what we've built so far and who our fictitious entrepreneur is.
So we kind of looked at this in a way where, look, Susan's walked into the office and she's like, hey, I'm quite good at building websites and funnels and doing stuff for people, but I'm struggling to get leads. And the advice was basically, well, look, you need to kind of niche this down. What's something that you're interested in, something that you like? And she talked about photography, and she realized that there's a lot of photographers out there who are making good photographs, and they can create all sorts of things that they can sell through their skills, whether that is, like they could take pictures and sell them as a canvas, or they could go out there and they could put these into nice picture books, or they could take pictures at weddings or events or gigs. And she's like, well, if I could just get these photographers online and build them funnels, I found an area of the internet where I can offer my skills that's not kind of a red ocean, right? So in various books by Russell Brunson and the stuff that we kind of follow at ClickFunnels.com secrets, expert secrets, we talk about this blue ocean and red ocean concept, right? So if you're in a red ocean, there's a big bunch of sharks and it's full of blood and everybody's kind of fighting over the last little morsels. If you're in a blue ocean, then the water's calm and tranquil and there's only kind of you in there, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can find that blue ocean space where you can go and offer your services, that's, might seem impossible, but it's not. And by, instead of coming into the ClickFunnels group and be like, I sell funnels and everybody sells funnels, the chances of getting a sale in this group, because everybody knows what funnels is, everybody understands marketing, everybody understands this stuff, you're better off taking those skills and offering them to a small business. Maybe you're going to go and approach the photographers, the salons, the dentists, the accountants, people who are specialists in their thing, but they don't know much about online, right? That's the nice area to be in. So if you can find yourself like 20 photographers or 20 accountants or 20 dentists or 20, education practitioners, whatever it is, right? And you could offer those folks a service that shows them, hey, if you just went online, you could actually make more money and be less cluttered and handle your calendar better. Your chances are you're going to make money as well. But if you try and sell like funnels to the funnel builders, you're probably going to struggle, because you see the difference in the red ocean and the blue ocean, right? So Susan's ready to rock, and she's got a logo that we kind of came up with, and Tim designed some stuff, and we've got some stuff in AI. But today we want to focus on, well, now that you understand your concept, you know your service that you can offer, you've really niched that down into who are your perfect customers. How would you start to get your message out there? Right, and Andy, I know you've put together a download and stuff. We put the link in the chat yesterday. We'll do that again at the end, because what would you do first? What could you do to try and build something that gets your message out there, I guess, is the question, right?
Right. Awesome. So anybody that's just joining, don't worry. You'll be able to understand this. You don't have to go back and watch yesterday first, although it would help. And if you find the information that we give you today useful, then you definitely should go back and watch the replay from yesterday, because there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
All right. So before we jump in, Danny, let me just let people know that there's lots of different ways for you to get help with ClickFunnels. Today, if you have a question, that's what we're here for. We'll answer any question in the comments. Just drop it in there. Now, if you have a question related to today's topic, we're going to answer those first. But if you have any other type of question, like, why doesn't this button work? Or what do I need to do to, upload my picture? We can answer those at the end. We'll be happy to do that. All right. Now, if you have a question outside of our live videos, you can always go to the ClickFunnels Knowledge Center. If you're using ClickFunnels 2.0, which is what we recommend, there's lots of new features coming out all the time, then you're going to want to go to help.myclickfunnels.com. That's where you'll find articles. It's kind of like a YouTube for ClickFunnels stuff. So you could just go there and do a search and find videos and help articles pretty much related to everything that you can do in ClickFunnels 2.0. The other way to get help, let's say you really need to interact with a human, a person, what you can do is you can send an email to support@clickfunnels.com. Super easy. Just send them an email and they'll be able to interact with you, and they respond really quickly. So make sure that you save that email address, support@clickfunnels.com. Yep. All right, so let's, what are we gonna do today? Today, what we're gonna talk about is, we do want to mention a little bit about the Expert Secrets and the .com Secrets books by Russell Brunson. These are key. Yeah, Danny's got them right there. These are key to understanding the ClickFunnels universe, okay, and the marketing universe, the marketing funnels universe. It's in these books, we're going to be talking about a few of the concepts today. In fact, in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about something called the hook, story, and offer concept. This is super important. Just memorize what that is. You may have heard about it, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. We're also going to talk about the different types of funnels that there are and why we're going to be building something called the perfect webinar today. Perfect webinar is, there's a whole chapter, right? There's a whole chapter in the, is it the .com Secrets book?
Inside of, kind of like it leads into, but Expert Secrets, you've got a lot of information inside of there about this, but there's also like a handout, and we've got a link for that where you can actually get this thing, and it's like you've heard it ripping off the paper because I had it stuck to my wall, and like this is the older version, but it's still gold, and I want to kind of show you some of the things that go along with that, because a lot of people will take this and try and do it literally word for word, but if you can adapt this to your business, then this thing will apply to most things that you're trying to do, right? So perfect webinar is a big thing for me, and it can be a big thing for you if you kind of get it and you don't try and do it word for word, and you certainly don't try and go out there and be Russell Brunson, right? Because this is not what Russell's saying. He's not coming on there and saying, hey, go and copy me, right? But you need to observe what Russell does, and you need to observe what other people who've been successful with the webinar do, and you can apply, maybe not apply all of it, you can apply some of it, and Expert Secrets is the best place to kind of look for that. But we are talking a lot in .com Secrets again about the sort of early funnel structures. This book came first, right? Then Expert Secrets, then Traffic Secrets, and it was designed in that way so that if you read all of those and then you kind of get the trilogy box set and you get Unlock the Secrets as well, it kind of puts it all into context. But it's just some key messages that go through some of those themes. So there are, chapters dedicated to it, but I want to kind of give you the 1 hour, 10-minute Danny take on this stuff, which it kind of links back to all of that. Hopefully you get a light bulb moment and you can go away and do this stuff. Does it kind of make sense, right?
Totally makes sense, buddy. So, yeah, I do see that. I actually have the digital versions and audio versions of those books. I do have the physical copies, but they're at home in California. And yeah, I can see here that there's in .com secrets, he talks about something called the secret formula, and then hook story offer. There's also something called the value ladder. And all of these are concepts that I wish we could cover them today, but I chose hook story offer. I chose that because to me, that really stood out as like something key that you should memorize and that you should repeat in your mind over and over, and just repeat it like a mantra, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what is this about? What is hook story offer about?
There's a real good way to kind of summarize this was, again, watch what Russell Brunson does, right? And you can obviously read the book, so you get the full sort of rundown on this. But Russell posted recently a video on his Instagram or on his stories on Facebook, and you're kind of scrolling down Facebook, and you see this video with Russell Brunson in, right? And he's got like this sparkly tie, right? So he's got a tie on, right? And you're like, Russell's wearing a tie? And you immediately stop the scroll to find out why, in the name of anything like sensible, is Russell Brunson wearing this sparkly tie. And this was the point of the video. And he makes the point about the tie as being the hook, right? A visual hook that grabs you from wherever you are. Kind of like one of those like big old hooks that they put around like the neck of the sheep, and they crook that sucker, right? They're going to get this sheep and they drag this thing in, the old shepherd's crook. You are a fish catch some of your dream customers. You're going to go out there. We talked about fishing. You look in the water. You have a look around. You see what's swimming where. What kind of fish are you trying to catch? We looked at all that stuff yesterday. Same sort of thing in marketing. And your hook is the thing that grabs people's attention, right? And if you just think of it like that, it's as simple as that. But if you read the books and you start to digest and understand this, you can see lots and lots of different examples. And people use, you can use an audio hook. You can use a visual hook. You can use a written word. You can use a headline as a hook. You can use a fancy Facebook ad as a hook. You can use a video as a hook. The whole point is you're going to stop people doing what they're doing and grab their attention. So you hook them in, right? And online, because people's attention spans are like minuscule to start with, you have not got long to do that. Right. So if I imagine, you kind of know me, right? So it's like you've seen me on here, and I never always had this beard. But if I appeared and I'd had a shave, you'd be like, whoa, where's Danny's beard gone? That's like an instant hook, right? Because you're like, what's going on? He's changed his appearance. Or, some people can get this wrong, right? And they come on, they try to do some elaborate, crazy things, some elaborate, crazy marketing thing, and it doesn't work for them. So there's like, a blunt hook that won't catch any fish because it's like it just doesn't do the job. And the best marketers have got the best hooks, right? And you notice even this could be like an email, in your email, it could be like the subject line, and it grabs your attention real quick and it hooks the audience in, right? That's like the Thai video kind of summed that up in 35 seconds. And you go and find that, scroll through Russell's stuff. I know he posts every single day. But if you find the one with the sparkly tie, because everybody who knows, unless it's like some, I don't know, like a wedding or some kind of really serious thing, generally Russell is rocking a t-shirt, right? Or is looking like Russell. So you see him in this tie, you're like, oh man, what's going on? And you kind of, it grabs your attention. Not to mention a sparkly one. Right. And he makes the point that you need to hook people in. But when you've got their attention, you don't just want to go on there and go, hey, buy this thing. You need to sort of frame them in their mind as to why they should buy this thing. And the best way to kind of do that is through a story. And this leads perfectly into the perfect webinar, because what we're trying to do when we introduce something to the market is we want to captivate the audience attention after we've hooked them in, right? So we don't want to just go in there and say, buy this stuff, right? Because that's very difficult online, because people don't know who you are and they can't resonate with you or your story immediately. Mm-hmm. And we can do that again through sending out emails. We talked about the soap opera sequence and the Seinfeld sequence, and all of this stuff's in .com secrets, right? A bunch of emails you can send out over a period of times that will get people to understand who you are and like your background and your story and all the rest of that stuff. So when you then make the offer, the third component, people are more at ease with parting with the money, which is the crux of this stuff. So if you can hook them in, tell them a story in a certain way, and then ask them to buy or opt in or do something, take action, you're more likely to get that result. And often what our folks will do is they think that, you know, hey, you just build this funnel and you put a bunch of pages together in ClickFunnels and that's it. That we're ready. We're going to make money. And they've got the messaging wrong, or they've got the hook wrong. And ultimately, when the people land on the page, they just try and go for the kill. And people are just repelled by that. It's a blunt hook. There's no story. You've jumped that bit and you've gone straight to the offer. Well, you know, I wasn't really hooked in the first place, and now you're trying to sell me some stuff I don't understand. Sorry, buddy, I'm out of here. And that's the unfortunate opposite end, right?
Gotcha.
So you want to hook people, talk to them for a while, tell them a story. We talked about time yesterday, right? This could take time. This story might unfold over a series of emails or a series of videos, right? Or it might unfold over a challenge or a webinar or a video sales letter. You see where I'm going with that? And once you've got them to the point where they know a little bit about you and they trust you a little bit more through your storytelling, and they understand the value in the product. And look, and they buy like garden furniture, they don't want the garden furniture. They want the evening in the garden with the family, and, you know, the kids are running around. Maybe they have a glass of wine, or they sat back and they're drinking the green tea in the peace and tranquility, whatever it is, right? Folks want the result. They want the outcome, right? People don't want to go to the gym. They want the fitness level, right? So the gym is the means to the end. It's like the drill. You buy the drill, you want the hole in the wall, you hang your portrait on there of your cat or whatever it is. So you've got to kind of bear that in mind when you're telling your story. And once you've done that, hopefully people are captivated and they stay with you long enough for you to make the offer. It's just like, look, I'm going to try to sell you some stuff right now, Andy. You're just going to be like, well, man, I don't need that. But by the end of the process, not only will you think you do need it, but you'll also want to give me money. And that's the crazy thing about what's in these books. And it's called .com secrets for a reason and expert secrets for a reason. Maybe some of those secrets are out there right now, but some people just like, look, they get the book, they open it, they close it, they say, I've read it, they put it on the shelf, and now they're a funnel builder. That ain't the way that it goes, right? You've got to take the principles and apply them into real life and real business. And when you do that, you'll start to see real results. So hook, get them in, story, captivate them, and then think about making the offer and be mindful of time.
Okay, awesome. I love how you said that the perfect webinar, the type of funnel that we're going to be talking about today, it can be applied in many different ways. There's one way that Russell describes in the book. He talks about how he does the webinar over and over again until it gets better and better, and he improves his story. He improves the each sentence, each part of his presentation has a certain part, has certain words that are key, and he after doing it 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, you start to improve and get better. And by that 20th time, people are going to be banging on the door, demanding that you accept their money because you've perfected your webinar. So yeah, and I love the way that you said that, you know, it could be a video sales letter, it could be, you could do it in different ways. And so that's good to know, because some people are a little bit afraid of going live, you know, right away. They might want to record it at first. So there's many different ways to apply this. I do want to mention, Danny, that because we're funnel hackers, we probably are always taking a look at different ads that catch our attention, right? Online, on TV, on YouTube and things like that. And I just want to mention a story about an ad that I saw that just bugs me so bad, okay? It bugs me so bad because it's so good. All right, so there's this ad that I keep seeing, it keeps popping up, probably because I've been to their website a couple times. And it is a virtual hiking challenge. So you can buy this medal. It's basically, they're selling you a medal, right? And it's the fanciest medal I've ever seen. And for anybody that has done challenges or, marathons, 5Ks, things like that, you really appreciate those medals because you work hard, right? And the nicer ones, you show them off to your other friends and family that like to do, runs and challenges and races and stuff like that. And this medal that I saw in this ad, they just kept showing it in like 3D and flipping it around and stuff like that. And it's just the most beautiful medal. And I think the reason why this ad bugs me in a good way is because I realize that even though that I'm not too excited about doing the challenge, the virtual challenge that it says, because virtual challenge, there's no other people. It's not as exciting. You're just going to do it on your own time. But that medal, that medal is so pretty. I want it. So, I think that's a really good example of a video that is the hook, right?
Yeah.
They just keep showing that medal over and over again and how easy it is. You could do it on your own time, but it's really the medal that people want, and it just drives me crazy.
What you've got to understand is that they're using that desire to win or the desire to achieve to grab your attention, right? But that's also going to push away people that don't have that desire. Mm-hmm. Do you see how it should work two ways? So not only should you grab the right people, it should also repel the wrong people. Mm-hmm. So like if you put all the old, grill out with the barbecue with the steaks on and whatnot, chances of getting vegans through the door is very, very slim, right? It's not going to happen. And that's, no disrespect to any folks, but it's the truth, because people, like, we do the fishing stuff and the fishermen won't buy golf and golf won't buy fishing. So it's like, if you put a golf club up, I'd be like, well, I'm not clicking on that. It's nothing to do with me. And you can think about how that applies in any aspect of anything that you're seeing. And if you want to go and check out ads, you can go to a thing called the Facebook ads library. And you can use this. It's dead simple. You go to facebook.com/ads/library. And on there, it'll present you with this page, right? So you're going to see this thing. And you go into ads library and it'll bring up, countries. You can search countries. And then you can look in the various categories and you can type in whatever, right? So you type in hiking. And this is now going to bring up a big bunch of ads that are actually running out there. Or, for example, you can type in macro, got the thing working, photography, and you can really niche down, right? So some of these guys are now in that weird niche that we were looking at for Susan. Mm-hmm. And you can see, like, these guys are going out there taking pictures of, like, the inside of the flowers, right? Am I on the right page with this, Andy? Because I know nothing about it. But what we can do with this is sort of see what things are actually being advertised. So maybe that's some crazy lights that go on your camera so you can get right close in, flex light, right, fixed light, or this guy's got these things on his mount. So that's a really good hook. I don't know if you can see that. Let's try and zoom in a little bit so you can sort of see the crux of this stuff. You can sort of see these crazy lights that he's got on his camera. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously going to get you a real good shot when you're doing some close-up photography, right? That's what this is all about. And then there's the thing. So this company is clearly selling these things, and then it's showing you other examples of training and stuff like that. But at some point, one of these ads is going to hook somebody in because they're interested in that. Now, if you're not interested in this stuff, chances are you're never going to click it. Does that kind of make sense? So you can use the ad library to give yourself some inspiration as to what other advertisers are doing. And then you can go and look at those ads and look at those sites and see, do they have a funnel you can follow through? And look, for Susan's story, this would be a good place to start, right? Because what you're going to do, Susan, is you're going to go into this thing, you're going to have a look down all these ads, and you're going to find a bunch of photographers that are trying to sell a product or a service, but they're not doing very well at it, and they're spending a big bunch of money on ads. And you can see that they're spending money on ads, and they're running ads, but they might not be running very good ones. So there's one here that's like photography course, and it doesn't look very good. And you can also see insights on these. So you can click like the ads details, and it'll show you some basic information, how many followers and likes and people have got on the sites and on the pages. And then you could potentially position an offer for them in, not too difficult to do that, right? So again, you would then need a hook for the people who are doing this. So it depends where you're coming in. Maybe you just want to hack funnels and build a funnel in that niche, or maybe you want to offer a service to the people who are building like offers in that niche and then sell them funnels. So it's kind of like, where are you at in your business? But that ads library just gives you a big bunch of insight that you can use. And that gives you all of the ads pretty much of all of the people in that area. And this thing's just scrolling. There's a bunch of stuff on there. And if you can then say, right, well, I can see what people are doing and sort of model something or make an offer based on that, you have more chance of success, right?
Right. Yeah. So the Facebook ads library is such a good resource. So today we're kind of we're inside Susan's brain, right? And yeah. Susan she's gotten pretty good at ClickFunnels, and she now wants to offer her services to other people that might want to build a site on ClickFunnels. And so what she's doing is she's starting a niche because she also likes macro photography. And so she is in a group of macro photography amateurs, and these people are pretty darn good photographers. And she wants to help them actually make money selling their photos, or maybe creating a course or something like that. And so if we were Susan's brain, like we're pretending today, the ads library would be great for us to take a look and see what kind of ads are related to macro photography. And then what we can do is we can check out our competition, get some ideas and things like that. Am I on the right track?
Kind of that, and because imagine Susan's in a macro photography experts group, right? And there's not many of these groups because it's a very small niche area. And she realizes these guys are continually trying to sell products. So she's looking in the group thinking, well, look, I've got the skills to help this guy, right? And then she sees a couple of days later a post coming up going, anybody having success selling their photographs? And people are commenting going, no, not me. I tried a WordPress site once, but I got, I made $5. Or, she's seeing the conversation unfold over a period of time. And she's like, well, I've got the skills to actually help these folks, right? So what she can do then is go and look on this Facebook ads library, and she might actually see some of these folks trying to sell their stuff. That's like insight, right? And also in the comments of the group, she's looking at some of these folks trying to sell the stuff, or, maybe one or two of them have shared the website, or they've given an inkling, and you can check them out on the profile, right? So she's going to stalk around a few people, and she's seeing that, look, this guy keeps coming up saying, anybody had success selling the photos, or is anybody doing this professionally, or any kind of question like that. And she's having a look at this industry thinking, well, people are trying, but they're not being very successful. But we've got this one guy over here who keeps coming in and dominating the chat. And he's the one who comes in and is like, yeah, we do this all the time, and we're doing really well. And he's always the one trying to share the insight. Susan can gather all that information before she even makes an offer and put pen to paper, open up the books, start to realize that some of the things that she's seeing out there in the real world can be translated into these frameworks. Right? And now Susan can start thinking about, well, how do I construct, you mentioned the value ladder. How can I construct a series of offers that take place over time that gradually increase in value to my customer so I can charge more for them? Right? So Susan's like, right, well, maybe I could just start off by showing people how to make an awesome logo that they can put on their photographs. So when they sell them, they look more professional, but they're branded back to them. And then what I could do on the back of that, like brochures, and you put all your photographs in, you sell these as like a pack of 10 amazing photographs with those little logos on. You get these printed on Amazon, right? So kind of like a print on demand service that you can teach these photographers. And then she's like, well, look, these guys, when they've got that product with the logo on, then they need some way of selling it. So maybe I could do a web class where I could teach people how to take the logo, take the bound book of photographs, and then sell these on a funnel. And I could get affiliate commission from ClickFunnels because I'm smart and I understand that there's an affiliate program. So I get people to sign up, and I could build the funnels, and I could do all of that in like a cool package. But she's not thinking to offer them the big cool package to start with. She's offering them a simple thing to get them through the door, like a hook kind of thing. It's like, hey, does anybody need help building a logo to put on your photographs? Right? So you could deploy that in a group of even 100 people, because you could start getting involved in that conversation with folks. And Maybe you could do some for free, like we discussed yesterday, or maybe you could just literally go in the group and be like, hey, you know, I've been putting these logos on my photographs, and since I did this, people have been more inclined to buy them because they look more professional. If that helps anybody, let me know. You see how like powerful that is? And that's like an instant hook, because anybody in there who's not got a logo on their photographs, like, I need to put a watermark on my photographs. You see, like, and now Susan's got the attention. That's like the starting point. If you've never heard of online, is just going into communities and literally finding the people and showing them something cool. But that translates into all sorts of different businesses. It's like, what is the cool thing that you can show or hook them with, right? And then you've got time. And if you think about your value ladder over time and what can you build at different intervals and present at different intervals, and you know the next logical step for that person is to come there, and then from there to there, and then from there to there, it's like you've already kind of got the plan in mind. So Susan's figuring all this stuff out, right? And she's like, well, look, this group potentially has got 50 people in there who want logos, who need websites, who are trying to do it and not doing very well. I've checked out their ads, I've checked out their websites, I've checked out their Facebook pages. Nobody's killing it. Nobody's got a funnel. And I know I can go in there and make some money and make an impact. Light bulbs come on. Now she's potentially got a business serving those people. Does that like help? I don't know if there's anybody.
Oh man, the gears are turning in my head so much, Danny. Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much laid out the entire path that Susan has ahead of her. So that's really exciting. Now, so the hook is the thing that really needs to grab people's attention. Yep. You know, that shiny object, the text that really jumps out and grabs at you. Maybe it's even part of the hook on a page, on an opt-in page. That's what we're going to be starting with when we create our funnel. Even a picture can be part of the hook. Is that correct?
Yeah, without a doubt. As long as it grabs the attention and it pulls people in, then it could be text, it could be an image, it could be audio, it could be video, it could be, you know, just something that grabs their attention as they're walking down the street, like the alarm that's going off in the background of someone's property that you might be able to hear right now. It's stopped. But like anything that grabs the attention is something that you can like kind of validate as being a hook, right? This is something that's hooked folks in, right? So just going into a group and sharing your photographs with a logo in the corner that makes you look really professional is getting people's attention without you actually being like brazen and saying, come and buy this thing. Nobody knows you deliver this as a service. People will ask, hey, Susan, how do you get that little logo in the corner of your photograph? I was like, I can show you if you like. And then people are like, well, yeah, I want to see that too. And now Susan's thinking, well, look, I've got 10 people here who want to know exactly how I create these logos and put them in the corner of my photos. And there's a chance I could actually sell the how-to as like a piece of learning, right? As like a product, as a little mini course, maybe, because it's not easy to go and do these things. There are some steps. And I guess with them being photographers, they probably use Photoshop, but they use it in like maybe for like the lighting, or they're adjusting the sort of like, you know, they're changing the atmosphere of a photograph, or, you know, they're not necessarily going to be doing graphical work. They're more doing the aesthetics and amending that. And maybe they're taking out the red eye or whatever it is, right? And there's using Lightroom, but they might not be doing some other stuff in Photoshop that if I show them this, then they're going to be like, whoa, Susan really knows her stuff and I need more. And that ascends them up this value ladder.
Right.
It's like, so just posting real good content with a little bit of different to what everybody else is posting in itself is a hook, right? The thing is how fast do you want to reel the fish in once you've hooked it? That's the thing you need to be thinking about, right? So if you need a real fast hook and you're like hook and catch, then you're probably not going to do that straight away unless you're the first person to show off an AI tool or something like that. And everybody's like just foaming at the mouth. And the thing about what I'm saying there is the hook needs to be instantly obvious of what it is that you're doing, right? So that's why we kind of sometimes we need to grab their attention, and then we need to tell a story before we make the offer, because sometimes it's not immediately obvious. Does that make sense? So you've got to kind of make it obvious so they know what they're getting. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she's kind of got a thing in her mind now, though, right? She's like, whoa, well, I'm in this group. I love the macro photography. I can build the services these guys need. And I know that they'll won't need a website straight away, because some of them, you know, they're just trying to sell these on like Etsy or whatever it is, right? They're trying to sell the photos just in these like trade fairs on canvases, and they're trying to sell them that way. It's like, imagine if you could take that online and get these things printed on demand and don't even need to touch any of that stuff, and making a commission, and they could position that. Oh, they could have a funnel, or right now these things, they don't know about these things. So the more I introduce them to these things, the more likely they are to come with me, because they'll see me as an expert.
Gotcha. Brilliant. Okay, so in a little bit, we're actually going to start building the funnel, right? And it would be really fun if anybody that's watching right now, if you want to maybe put some ideas for a hook, a text hook, a headline that we're going to be using later on. If anybody wants to drop those in the comments, that would be really cool. We would love to, discuss them, and maybe we'll use one of those. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But Danny, so we've been talking about the hook, right? And you kind of described about the offer a little bit. You went into that. What about the story?
Now, the story is, there's the thing about stories sell, right? So stories sell stuff. And I've seen a guy this morning, and in the fishing world, right, there's not many new innovative products. And there's a guy who started a new company, and he's getting a big bunch of flack because he's tried to break into this really hard industry where everybody, there's only these products, there's only these things that, people can use for fishing. And this guy's gone and brought something out that's totally like a game changer, super innovative, right? But instead of just coming out there and throwing himself to the wolves, because people are going to say, no, that doesn't work, you've got to stick to the traditional methods and such, right? This guy has come out there, and instead of just showing the product, he started off, sat in his workshop, and he's like, last year, I met a fellow fisherman who, look, this guy doesn't have a lot of money, and he's been wrestling with this idea for many, many years. He's been sat back in his workshop, and he's been developing this thing, and he just didn't know how to bring it to market. And what he did is he emailed me, and at first I thought that this was just another marketing email, just another crazy guy with a crazy idea. And when I looked into this, the light bulb came on. And not only is this a good idea, this is one of those ideas that could change your fishing. And everyone's like, whoa. So let's talk about the guy a little bit. And he starts tearing up in this video. He's like, and he's getting emotional and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is like gripping story about this guy's struggle in life, and how he's tried to do this and failed, and he's tried to do this and failed. And now he's finally cobbled together this prototype, and he's got it on the desk of this marketing fishing company, right? And they've looked at it, and they've recognized the genius in it. They realized that this thing could actually change the life for fishermen and change the way that they catch more fish, right? Because that's the result. We talked about it earlier. These guys don't want to go out there and sit in a freezing cold river all day. They want to catch fish, right? They want to catch biggest fish possible, right? So I said, you're going to go fishing and you're not going to catch any fish. You're like, well, what's the point? So the whole point is, but it's not even about catching the fish. It's about the trophy shot. It's about being able to boast with your friends and tell these folks, hey, this is the fish that I've caught, right? And this is where I'm at. Look what I've achieved. Look at my achievement. And he is making a story that underpins all of that, saying, look, if you could just get your hands on this thing, you could then bring this guy's dream to reality, but you could also go and catch more fish. You see how that story's starting to get you like, well, maybe, just what if? And it's like, I don't know, $9.99 or something, right? So it's worth a shot. It's not like a big old thing that you need to buy. So before he gets to tell you what it is and how much it costs and even show you this thing, he's kind of told you a story that's gone on for 5-10 minutes. He's getting emotional. He's brought the guy in when they went to the solicitors, to the patent office to go and see the lawyer and sit down and work this deal out. And now then the guy's getting emotional now because he's finally achieved his goal. And he takes you on this, 5-10 minute thing. And then he's like, well, who wants to see the product? Well, of course, everyone wants to see the product because they've been sat there for 10 minutes just listening to this thing. And if they're there at that point, chances are that they're going to buy this thing. But if he just came on and showed this crazy thing and said, hey, this is the new thing. Do you want to buy it? Buy. People are like, oh, I don't even understand this. Are you nuts? So do you see the power of the story that actually assisted the buying process and people make a decision? And you go on the YouTube channel, you look at all the comments and they're lit up like a Christmas tree. Amazing story. It's great to see somebody finally being able to make it in the fishing world. Oh, what a fantastic product. Well thought out. I'm surprised, the story sold. And because my man's a marketer and he understands stories and selling, and the other guy just makes the product, he doesn't know anything about this. When you brought them together, that was the bit that he needed, right? So don't underestimate the story. And you sort of see that I've told a story about telling a story, which is like double story, right? But if you apply that framework, Russell Brunson ain't writing that in a book for no reason, right? But you've got to interpret it and use it in the right way and understand that in the context of how it's written and in your marketplace as well, right? And Susan can soon craft a story and a hook your story, and then think about the offer. Well, she's already thinking about the offer. I'm going to get people and I'm going to teach them how to make logos. Then I'm going to teach them how to do print on demand. Then I'm going to teach them how to build funnels. Then I'm going to build funnels for these guys. And then I'm going to get people into a course locally where they can all sit around, and by the end of the day, they're going to have a funnel built. And yeah, that could be $3,000 because that's like amazing deal. So like, $27, how to put a logo on a photograph, to a little course that teaches them print on demand, to a bigger thing and then a bigger thing. And she's planned that out over a period of time. I'm not going to do that all at once, but it's the stories that underpin that will sell.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's been many times that, I've heard somebody's story and you relate to them, right? You get to know them a little bit. And especially when somebody is candid about a struggle that they've been through and they share their emotions. That's what humans, we strive to connect with other people like that, right? Yeah. So if you can kind of describe what you've been through and the challenges that you've overcome and talk about, how this was a problem for you and then you overcame it, and it can be the same for you as well. So for their clients or their customers, their ideal customer, you have the solution for them. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you want the light bulb to come on, and in the books, you kind of need to read all of these, right? So you read all the books, but in there, we talk about the hero's 2 journeys, right? So that's a structure to tell a story, right? We also talk about what's called the epiphany bridge, which is a way to get people to change their thinking based on an epiphany you've had that they're about to have. Right? Does that make sense? So like a light bulb comes on in the mind. And all of that is kind of encapsulated in the most amazing thing ever, which is the perfect webinar, which isn't just a funnel. It's not just like we didn't actually need to build anything inside of ClickFunnels. It's just the fact is there's a structure, a way of describing and saying things to get people to give you money, which includes a hook at the beginning, but it also shows you how to transition from that to your offer. And that's why I've kind of thought, well, look, even if you're just writing a group post where you just write text, you're not going to do a video, you're not going to do slides, you're not going to do PowerPoint, you're not doing any of that stuff, the perfect webinar works. Even if you're just going to get people on a call and speak to them or meet them in person or present in a venue or send them an email, the perfect webinar works, right? If you are going to do a webinar, you are going to do a video, and you are going to do it, or you're going to do it over 5 days in the challenge, and maybe you're going to do it over over 5 weeks. Maybe that's where challenges are going, right? So there's going to be like this this 5-week thing. But there's a guy out there called Jeff Walker, and he's famous in the marketing space. He does what's called a launch formula, where you show the people a series of videos, and then you sell them something on like the 4th or the 5th video. It's whatever you call it, whether you call it a webinar or you call it a challenge, or you call it a launch sequence, or you call it a VSL, whatever it is. It's a way to get people to go from not knowing who you are to giving you money. And that uses a combination of stories. It uses a combination of showing people things without teaching them stuff. Mm-hmm. And it uses some very clever sales techniques, which are very subliminal, which humans are proven to respond to. And if you get that right, you're going to make money at the end when you ask for the sale. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And what just blew my mind, Danny, and you may not realize how someone that might be watching right now, and all of this stuff is a little bit new to them. But I love how you said that there's the perfect webinar funnel, and then there's also a different type of funnel, the Jeff Walker launch funnel, right? And are you saying you can actually mix different types of funnels together? So maybe there's like a perfect webinar launch funnel?
Yeah. So ultimately, for example, I've just done a challenge, and the perfect webinar script underpins the whole challenge, but we do that over 5 days, right? And whether you're doing the launch formula or you're doing, just a little sales letter or you're just writing an email, it's still using a formula that takes people approach that then leads to you being able to ask for the sale and them give you money, right? And the perfect webinar is one of the best examples of that. So what you've got to understand is the pages inside of ClickFunnels, right, are just pages inside of ClickFunnels, right? And we call those funnels because they are, so it's a sales funnel, right? So you're going to sell some stuff. It's a webinar funnel because it holds together a webinar, but the elements of the funnel fall outside of those pages as well. So the shortest funnel in the world is writing something in a Facebook group, getting somebody on a DM, and then getting them on the phone and selling them something, right? You can go shorter than that. And that's a funnel, but you don't actually see any pages in any kind of builder. Does that make sense? So if the very fact that you're watching this video now, right, this is like ClickFunnels. So inside the ClickFunnels group, I can't sell my own stuff, right? I work for ClickFunnels, but I can sell ClickFunnels. I can sell these books, right? And I know that the people watching this are already thinking, dang, I need to get those books. So if you want these books, there's links for these books, and we could drop them in the comments, and you can go and buy these, right, based on what we've been talking about. But people will go and buy those books. So the very fact you're watching this video means you're inside of a funnel, right? And the next step of the funnel is you go and do your research, you find where to buy those books, or you click the link. And then you land in a page inside of ClickFunnels. You meet Russell on a video, tells you a story. It will make you an offer. And that offer is get the book for free. You just pay the shipping. And now you're like, well, I can get this thing for free. And you just pay the shipping. And then it'll take you on a journey through pages inside of ClickFunnels. But at the end of that, you get to a checkout page, and it's like, hey, congratulations, you've ordered the books, they're on the way. But that journey doesn't stop there, right? So that's not the end of the funnel. That's just the end of the series of pages inside of ClickFunnels. The funnel continues for months and years and doesn't actually end. So for me, everything's a funnel. Right? It's like talking to somebody on the phone, talking to somebody in a group, doing a video, because all roads lead to Rome. And if you know that your value ladder or your end goal is to sell courses, and you know that you can't sell those courses immediately, then you need to kind of plug the gap between when they first see you and when you sell the course, which might be 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, right? Longer. So what is it that fits in there? And we showed yesterday about that kind of like railway station analogy, where it's like you move them from station to station. The little tracks are the pages in ClickFunnels, right? So you're going to start them off. It's like, hey, get this logo. So you figure out how to make this logo and put it on your photos. That's a real quick 2-pager. They watch a little bit of training, signifies whether they can go on the next leg of the journey to a different station. That moves them up to how to do the print on demand. They get to that station, they could get off, they could walk around, they could go back. But at that point, if they buy, it takes them on another step of the journey. You see how that's kind of like the value ladder, moving them up? But the way to ascend is by giving us money, right? And if anybody's watching this right now, and I know there's Bhutan's on here, and Navneet's on here, and Loris is on here, go get the books, read the books. If you're not, let me know in the comments you got the books. It's like, have you got the books? Do you not get the books? You need the books, right?
You need the books, yeah, definitely.
You need the books. But look, it's like, oh man, Danny's got this like view of this, and the view of it comes from actually applying the stuff in real world and failing at this stuff, right? Because you don't just go out there and pop off $1 million, right? And I've seen some big funnel accounts with some big amounts in there, and I've had people who have gone and popped off millions of dollars, $250,000, or even just 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever. It's like even just, right? It's like, you can go out there and make a big bunch of money, but chances are you're going to fail on your first few attempts. And that's cool, because that gives you the opportunity to hone your skills. And you said this earlier, Andy, about, even in the book Russell recommends, you do this webinar every single week for a year. And people are like, well, are you crazy? I can't do that. But you can, and you should. And if you do, the chances are that you're going to be like what they say about, like, if you do a certain kick 1,000 times, right, or 100,000 times, how many times can you do the Karate Kid move, right, whatever it is, and you keep doing that move and that move and that move. That's why in any kind of martial art they train that repetition, right? And then in the Karate Kid movie, right, he's like, why are you teaching me this wax on wax off business? And then all of a sudden he gets into the situation and he's just automatically doing that move, and it's like, whoa, I can do this. You see, like, there's method in the madness, right? But some people will just give up, and they won't go out and like even try once or twice. Oh, I'm a failure. But don't do that. Like, keep applying it, because let all the other guys in your space drop off. The people they've come in the group thinking they're going to catch some fish dead easy, they're not, right? Yeah. And you go out there and do that. And Perfect Webinar is a great way to do it, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. It's so important to understand that you're not going to be perfect the first time that you do something, right? The first time you do something new, it may not be as good as it's going to be later on. It just takes practice. I have seen, because when I first started in this community, I was actually in the support department. And I have seen so many people that have, contacted support, asked just questions that I couldn't believe. My goodness, does this person not know like the first thing about what they're doing? And 6 months later, their business is exploding. Okay. Yeah. Maybe the first time their page looks terrible, but they keep at it. They keep trying. They keep learning and making improvements every day, just small steps. And eventually they get their first contacts. Then they make their first sale. They're excited now. And pretty soon they start to adjust their headlines and their hook and story and offer. And pretty soon they're just getting more traffic and more interaction. And then all of a sudden the sales start to come in, and they have perfected the process. Yeah. And so, it's really important. I want to stress to anybody that's ever having trouble. Maybe you're still trying to work that side gig on the weekends, in the evenings, and it's kind of coming along. Hang in there. This is a process that might take some time, might take some practice. But Danny, I think, my goodness, I just realized the time here. I think we should probably go ahead and start building that funnel, right?
Yeah, we can do some stuff, but the principles of what we're saying are more important than the pages inside of ClickFunnels right now for some people. And there's some comments in there, Loris is saying 10,000 hours to be proficient is what they say. Navneet saying he purchased .com Secrets for the first time 2018, was unaware of funnels, just bought it just to show off that he's a reader. We said that earlier, right, before he even came on the stream, so it must be a thing. How would you take somebody from, bearing in mind that the pages in ClickFunnels are not necessarily the whole funnel, right? That's an important thing for me. So what I kind of want to do is just sort of show you real quick what would I do if, like, it's like, Danny, can we just launch this business, right? So Susan's like, what's the plan? So what I want to do is I want to like do the plan, and if you understand the plan, then you can we'll go and build this out in ClickFunnels real quick, right? So
cool.
Let's just put this on the screen and look at this, right? So what Susan's saying is there's a bunch of people out there right now inside of photography groups who want to try and make money. And that's their dream, that they want to sort of sell their products, their photographs, their services, and they're not doing a great job of it, right? So these guys, she's already located them inside of a group. And inside of that group, Susan's like, looking in, and she's having a good look in there, and she's sort of peering in, and she's got this kind of like light bulb moments come on, above her head. And Susan's like, whoa, I get this, right? I know that this group is with her laser marketing vision. She's looking at this and she's like, whoa, these guys are going to need my help, right? But what I understand is I've got levels of services that I'm going to offer over a period of time, right? So Susan knows that the big money is up here, and this is what we call the value ladder, right? So this is ascending value, but she needs a way to get these guys in. And what she's been doing is posting photographs that she's been taking, macro photographs in the group herself. So she posts her photographs in, and in the corner of her photograph, she's been putting like a watermark logo that looks amazing, right? So she's got these little watermark logos going on her photograph. And what she's finding is that people in the comments are commenting, whoa, Susan, how do you do that logo? They look amazing. They look really professional. And what she's been doing over a period of time is she's been actually adding people in Facebook as friends from the group. So what she's doing is slowly but surely over time, maybe 3 or 4 every few days or whatever in the first instance, while she's starting to think about some of this stuff going on over here, right? Does that kind of make sense? That is part of the funnel already, because she's already got the intention of where does she want to take these guys. Right? She needs to take them on a journey, right? So what she's going to do is build these little train tracks that are gradually going to move these folks between stations. So like, hey, we've got this station here and this station here. So that will be the first bit. And then she needs to move them to this station over here. And then she needs to move them to this station over here. And then who knows, right? Susan might not even know some of this stuff. We see the mountain, right? But sometimes you just see the mist around it. So Susan is like, right, well, I just need to focus on this bit right now. I need to get people from here, from A to B, which is my ad to a bank account. I need to get some money out of this so I know that it's viable. And what she's done is she's been reading Expert Secrets and .com Secrets, and she understands the perfect webinar. And she understands the perfect webinar is set out in a way, right, that's designed to make people change their beliefs. Okay. Right. So it's not about showing them everything. It's about to make them believe one thing. Right. That's the point. So what Susan understands, right, is that these guys have got an objective in mind, right? So these guys want to be successful online. Right. So what do these guys want? They want success online. Right. And Susan knows that the key to online success is a sales funnel. Right? But if she goes in there and goes, hey, you guys, you need a sales funnel, they're like, hey, this lady's crazy. Never heard of it. Does that kind of make sense where I'm going with this, right? So what she knows is the key to online success is a sales funnel. And the only way to achieve that properly is through ClickFunnels. Right? So if she can make them believe that, then all of their other objections are not going to make a difference. Because they now know that for them to be successful online, they need a funnel. And the only way to build that funnel is through ClickFunnels, right? Unless you want to waste a big bunch of time and money and effort and you do something that's inferior, right? Because everything else doesn't include the teachings of Russell Brunson. So she knows that, but they're too young in their development journey to understand that or get it or grasp it. So what she's got to do is she's got to think, well, look, ClickFunnels and funnels happens up here. Right? And this is time. Right? So time could be, I don't know, it could be a year before you introduce ClickFunnels. So she's got to work smart. Right? So what she's going to do first is she's going to teach people how to put this little logo onto their own photographs. Right? So they can look professional like she is. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
And what she can do, because she's been adding people as friends on Facebook and she's been talking in the group, is she could do 2 things. The first thing she can do is go into the actual group itself, the photography group, right? Or groups, depending on how many groups she's in, right? There could be more than one group that she's in. And she could ask a question, right? Hey, you guys, I noticed that you were always asking, how do I do that logo? If I showed you this, would you be interested? Now, some groups might ban you. They might not allow that stuff. They might see it as lead generation. We'd probably see that as lead generation inside of ClickFunnels. But there's ways and means, right? So if you can get away with it in the group, that's great. You get a big check. But the other thing is, you've now got maybe 100 people from that group on your own friends, and you can ask whatever you want on your own Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in ClickFunnels, we get a big bunch of people. They post these like 2-line posts. What's your biggest obstacle right now in your business? And loads of people answer, and then they go down the list and they click everybody as friends, and they have them all as friends. We know that you do that, right? And like we're having meetings like, well, what do we do? Do we leave it? Do we not leave it? You know, is it cool? Is it not? And there's always a balance, right? We kind of balance the hustle against Russell, if that makes sense. And it's like, if it's taking money out of ClickFunnels or it's causing a problem or it's like detrimental, it's probably got to go. And group owners will do that. They're like, well, look, this is my group. It's not really for you to come and sell your own stuff, but on your own wall on Facebook, if you've got people on there that have added you as a friend based on the value you're sharing in that group, then that's cool, right? Because you don't own people on Facebook. To be fair, you don't even own the group. You're just renting it off Mark Zuckerberg, right? It's a Facebook group. So there are some mechanics in this that is like, you found a group of people out there on the internet, you've showed up on a day-to-day basis, you've delivered a big bunch of value, but you kind of know where Rome is, and all roads are going to lead there, right? So you know at some point you're going to start selling these guys funnels. So you've gradually started adding the ones that have showed interest and asking you about your watermark or your cool graphics or your logos or your downloads or that thing that you keep amazing them with, right? That custom code, that, you know, that little strategy that you keep talking about. It's the linchpin model. Hey, that's amazing, but this guy's the expert of that, right? Does it sort of make sense? So whatever you're positioning in those groups, you don't go in there and go, hey, buy this thing, you're going to get banned. You go in there and you just keep giving value. And over time, you start making friends, you make acquaintances. And on your Facebook wall, you say, right, same question, right? If I could put together a real quick training, how I build those logos out on my photographs to look professional, who would be interested? And what happens is, in that little post that you put on there, you get a bunch of people go, me, right? And you can go down that list. And even if you've got 5 people, what you would do is you would message these folks and say, hey, I'm putting this training together. Is it all right if I send you a link so you can register? Do you see, like, are you getting this? Are you getting this thing? And I don't know, is there anybody in the chat and they're watching and you're watching live, you're on the replay? But if you do that and you've never run a business before, that gets you some people in to validate this offer without having to run ads and spend money and build websites and do anything, right? So now you're at a point where you maybe, I don't know, maybe this has gone crazy for me in the past, and I've got 50 people who all said me, right? And what I would do is I would ask them all in a message, hey, if I put a training together and send you a link based on what we've just said, are you in? And of course I am. Yeah, this is amazing. Let me know, right? So now you're in a position where you can start putting some stuff together in ClickFunnels that you would use to deliver the story, deliver the message, and actually sell some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So for me, and Loris is saying yes, right? So everyone's like, yes, we're going to do this stuff. And like, you've got to be careful how you do this in groups, and you've got to be careful how you approach this. But if we were to go over into ClickFunnels, build this thing, that'd be cool. I have to be careful which window I open because I've got lots of windows. But if we just did that inside of ClickFunnels real quickly, like, how would I now get a link to give to these guys? In 2 days, you're building a business, right? Sweet. So you've gone from like understanding it. And look, it's not Susan in the macro. All these macro groups are all crazy with funnel hackers in there going, oh, that's an amazing idea. Don't copy it word for word. Go out there and find a niche that you like, something that you enjoy. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it is martial arts or whatever. But think of the value ladder, think of your hooks, think of your story, all the rest of it, right? So look, what I've done is I've gone into ClickFunnels 2.0. This is one of my accounts because everything kind of works in here. And what I've done is I've just started a new webinar funnel, right? But there's two elements to the webinar. There's like the pages you build in ClickFunnels, and then there's the stuff you say on the video.
Okay.
And I want to do this live, right? So what I want to do is I want to give people an option to register for my live training of how I'm going to deliver this thing. And again, the pages in ClickFunnels are almost like the tracks. You need the train, right? So you need both elements. The tracks is cool because it just moves people, add them to a mailing list. It'll take them to a thank you page, and then you can email them the link to the webinar 10 minutes before you start. Is that clear? Because it's like, people get caught up on the design. This is the bit. This is the bit you need to go and study, right? Because the perfect webinar, it's in the Expert Secrets book, right? And if you go into the Expert Secrets book, it's pretty much most of the book is the perfect webinar, right? And depending on which version of the book, try and get the more up-to-date version. But look, this thing, it kind of starts like, come on, it's halfway through the book, right? So you kind of getting into this on page 206, right? So this is the framework, and it's similar to what I've got on my paper there. That's the old version. That's the new version, but it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to push down that one big objection, the big domino. And if you do that, all other objections are going to be removed and they have to give you money, right? And you can't do that by just saying, hey, buy this thing, right? So remember, Susan's trying to convince people that the key to being successful with your photography business online is a sales funnel. And the only way that you're going to build that is through ClickFunnels, right? So what she's going to do is be very careful on the approach. And at the start of the perfect webinar, you make an introduction. So when you come on your video, normally you watch these like webinars. Somebody must have watched a webinar, right? You watched a webinar, Andy, right? Have you ever watched a webinar and turned it off after 5 minutes?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. And the reason is because they're all on about like me. And these are like, it doesn't make sense. It's like you're thinking, well, look, they've not framed it in the right way. And the perfect webinar does 5 things in the beginning, which are gold. Right. So the first thing you do is you make a big bold promise and you say, by the end of this training, you will know exactly how to blank without blank. Right. So you can insert whatever word you want. Right. So by the end of this training, you'll know exactly how to make your own little watermarks that you can put on your photographs without having to hire a designer or go on Fiverr or use any kind of crazy expensive software. Right. And they go, yes. And you see when I said right, he's like, make sure you've said yes.
I did it too. Yeah.
You've said about yes about 300 times since we started this thing. Right? You go and watch the replay. How many times has Danny made Andy say yes in this thing? I'm deliberately like I'm engineered to do that, and I can't help it now, right? And these are called clauses. It's like a trial clause, a soft clause. You get it. You just did it again, right? So I can but look, the whole point of this is when you ask them for money, they're going to say yes.
Right.
Yes. Right. It's like you don't ever ask them a question where they say no. The minute they say no, it's like, oh crap, they're out of here. It's just like you've got it wrong. So you want people to say yes, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to make this bold promise. You're going to say, by the end of this training, you're going to know how to do this without that. And what I'm also going to do is, if you stay to the end, I'm actually going to give you some templates that you can use. So you can just overlay these on your graphic, on your photograph, and you can add your logo. Does that sound like a plan? And they say yes, right? So it's like you've then done number 2, which is hook them to the end. Because if you hook them to the end, they're going to watch to the end because you just promised them free stuff, right? And a lot of times people just stay because of the free stuff. So if you remind them a few points through the webinar, especially if you're live and you see the engagement starts to dip a little bit, that like, look, remember at the end, I'm going to give you this template so you can just go away and do this stuff. Yeah, I'll stay to the end. And then you command attention. So you can be like, look, I've been, not only am I doing the photography stuff like you, I also run my own little marketing agency where I help business owners do amazing things like this. There's some dramatic reel or video or content, something that you've done, right? So if I was going to do this, I'd be like, I've run a business that made $3 million selling fishing tackle in a really hard niche, and I've traveled the world teaching people how to build funnels, and I spoke on stage in Jamaica. Les Brown was there, and it was amazing, right? So there's like, oh man, this guy must know some stuff. And we won a 2 Comma Club award like last week, and we'll be collecting it at Funnel Hacking Live in like this year. So wow, that's like command the attention. But then you sort of like qualify yourself as well in that process by explaining some of the things you've done. But then you would, I added a little bit to this. It's like, it's not about me, it's about you, which puts it back in the place. But what you're doing is bold promise up to the end, command attention, qualify yourself. And then you do the most important thing. It's called future pacing. So you say, imagine, right? So imagine by the end of this training in 5 minutes, you would know exactly how to build your webinar. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yes. We're getting it. Right, we're getting it. So what we would then do is we would record a video that kind of uses those elements. But like I said earlier, this could be over a day, it could be over 5 minutes, it could be over 2 minutes. But what you're trying to do here is get rid of objections from the start and keep them saying yes. Read the book. It talks all about it. Then you're going to switch to the content, which is going to teach them 3 things, 3 secrets. And you're going to show them stuff without necessarily teaching. Now, I guess with the logo, you do want to kind of get some like teaching done, because you've just made a promise that by the end of this, they're going to know how to do it, and you're going to give them a template, right? But in doing that, you know that this is just the lead into your longer value ladder. It's kind of like a lost leader in a sense, but you're still going to make some money. So what I've done here is I've tweaked the perfect webinar to suit Susan's case. Still using the framework, still using the thing, but I'm not going to go in and ask for $997. Make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how you can put logos on your image real quick without spending thousands of dollars on designers or anything like that, or going to Fiverr and all this crazy stuff. And you'll be able to do it just like I can, and you look more professional in groups, or you should be able to get more money for your photos when you're selling them down at the fair, right? And people are like, whoa. And then you hook them to the end with a template, you command attention, qualify yourself, future pace, and you get straight into the content. And that content is based around 3 things. It's based around the vehicle for change, which in this case is going to be your templates. It's based around an internal belief that they've never done any design ever in their life. And it's based around an external belief, right? So it's a vehicle, an internal belief, external belief. And internal beliefs are like the things they tell themselves. External beliefs are the things that people tell them. So, oh, you'll never get more than $75 for one of those canvases. Well, that's wrong. That's just somebody's opinion, right? Or you tell yourself something that, oh, I'll never be able to go online because I don't understand all this stuff. And what I'm going to do over a period of time is deliver webinars that offer increasingly more valuable things of going up my value ladder. So I'm not just going to do one webinar, but I'm going to start with it and start with the logo thing. And that's what I recommend Susan does. So you're going to build out a real simple funnel inside of ClickFunnels. And what that's going to do is it's just going to provide the railroad tracks to get them from A to B, right? Mm-hmm. Because the whole goal of this is to get folks moving from where they are now in this group, because you've asked them, hey, if I put a training together, would you join me? And people have said yes. So you say, right, I'll send you a link in a few days. So you've already validated the need to come into ClickFunnels and build the thing. Don't build it and then try and post the link in the group, because you just get banned. Do you see the difference? So now you've got 20 people in your life, and they're asking you, Danny, is that link ready yet? When can I register? So you're like, right, look, we're going to go do this thing like next Saturday. So what do I need to do in my mind in terms of a railroad track? So I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to make a new page, and I'm just going to create an opt-in page and then make a new page, right? So that's like dead simple inside of ClickFunnels, and I'm going to call it new webinar opt-in, and I can copy that and I can put that in the description, and I'm just going to create a page, right? So this is an opt-in page. Whoa, we've got an opt-in page. And then I'm going to make a thank you page, which is like the next step of my funnel, my railroad track, right? So this is new webinar thank you. And then I'll copy that and I'll put it in there, and I'll create that page. So I've got 2 blank things. And the way ClickFunnels works is it means that when somebody puts the name and email in this page, it will add them to whatever email list or workflow we've got set up here, which I'll do in a minute, and then it'll move them to the next page, right? So what we're going to do real quick is just build something that would work, right? Mm-hmm. So what I would do is add a section, and I would add a full page, and then in row. So I've got a green section, blue row. Inside the row, I would add 1 column, and inside there, I would add a headline, and I would add a sub-headline, and then underneath, I would add a 2-column row, and then I just move that over a little bit, and then what I do is I have another section with a full page, 1 column, and in there I'd have a sub-headline, right? That's kind of like where I start with this. That's like, it's like, could you do that? Is it like pretty simple? Is it pretty simple? Over here, in this side, what I'd do is I'd have bullet points like that, and then underneath here, I would have a button, And then underneath here, I would have a countdown, right? And because you're doing this for a group of people inside a group who you're only going to do this once, I just add some top margin to that so it moves it down. You see where I'm going with this? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to set this for like, hey, we're going to do this on like the 18th of August, right? So that's the first day, and I'm going to do it live. And I'll just scroll down here and I'll choose so it shows the days. So in my thing now, I've got this, right? Over this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an image, which kind of would be the thing that we're talking about, right? So now you'll be thinking, oh man, I don't have any kind of image. Well, if we went over into the AI, right, that we was in yesterday, and we was like, imagine a macro photograph with a white logo in the corner, and then you can do aspect ratios, and we'll just do it like 16:9, which is the size of a monitor. And I just get one from AI, right? So it's like I'm pretending I don't have this camera. I'm not Susan, so I need something to put in that space. But what I'm going to do real quick is just get AI to do some kind of crazy macro thing. I don't know what's going to come out of this, but here we go. It's doing its thing, and I'm hoping it puts the white logo in the corner, right? Otherwise, I might have to superimpose some stuff. But we're just going to take this example. You'd obviously have something that links to your what you've posted in the group. Make sense? So
Makes sense.
we're rolling, and AI is doing some crazy stuff. And here we go. We don't know what this is going to look like, but it's probably going to be cool. And we're at 62%, right? So this is like 62%. And what we're going to do is we're just going to save this in a second. So once it's done its thing, it's 93% right now. And I don't know what this is. It's got a logo in the middle, right? So that'll do. So like if we look at number one, we upscale number one, and this is just Mid-Journey. It's just like an AI. You can pay for it if you like. Well, that's kind of like what Susan would be doing, right? And that was grab your attention, and it's got a white logo on it. So what I'll do, Andy, is I will save this as an image, and what I'll do then is I will load this image because I've got something super top secret inside of this account that I can't like show anybody.
Okay.
I'll get killed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this image up into ClickFunnels, right? And you can do the same thing if you want to add your logo and all the rest of that stuff. But I'm adding the image into ClickFunnels, and then we will bring the screen back. But everybody's following so far, right? So what I've done is I've devised my plan. I've asked people in the group, do they want this thing? And ClickFunnels has now given me a link, so I can share that link with people when the time is right. I've used AI in this case to generate the image that I want, and I'm currently adding that image to my ClickFunnels page. So now we've got that, we can add that back to the stream. So we're kind of there, right? So what I want to do is check this button and make this open the pop-up, and then I'm going to go up to the pop-up over here, show pop-up, and I'm just going to kind of put a rows in there, and in my row I'm going to have a column, and in my column I'll have a headline, and then what I'm going to have in here is an input, and then I'm going to clone that input, and then underneath there I'm going to have a button, and that button is going to be set to submit form. This headline, what I'm going to do is going to remove that. I'm just actually going to have the sub headline, and you see you drag this stuff up, right? So I've got a sub headline. So this is going to be step 1, register here for free training. That'll do, and that's looking good for now. Now designers will be like, but Danny, you need to do this like design thing. People already know what they're getting, right? So I just need to change this one to name, full name, email. It's already done for me. I'm gonna hit save in there, and I come back onto the main page. What I would do then is think about the hook that I had in my webinar idea, and this would be how to stand out as a macro photographer using cool design tricks that don't cost you thousands of dollars and you can do from your phone, right? Whatever it is. And you think about this, you read the books, you do a big bunch of stuff. In this free training, you will learn exactly how Susan puts awesome logos onto her photographs and sells them for more money, right? And you could even say there's more money than you, whatever it is. But I've got a headline, a sub-headline, I've got a photograph in there, and I'm going to minus that up so it kind of gives like a cool effect, stands out. And then what you could do here is you could have a video if you want explaining it. You could put other bullet points down below. You could have a different picture down below. You can have your copyright, 2023, whatever it is. Put your company name and all the rest of it. And then maybe you might want to move that over, and you might want to copy this down a little bit so you've got another version of this, and you put that there, and you could put like call to action, register now, the training starts, so you know when the timer or the date hits 0, right? Does this sort of make sense? So what we've done is just created a page, and you can put your 3 secrets in there then, right? So the secret design tool that I use that helps me do this in 5 seconds, why you can actually make more money than you think you can selling your photographs if you do this, and what they tell you is wrong. This is the best way to take your thing online or to the market or whatever it is. So you fill your 3 secrets in there, but you've got a landing page that's structured that will open. And if you want to mess around with backgrounds and colors and all the rest of it, you can, but the people already kind of know what they're getting in for, right? So it's this stuff that matters, is how you're going to actually deliver it on the video. And that's what you really need to go and spend some time kind of practicing and honing. But your first attempt to this is now going to be live on Saturday, and you've got 20 people in a group who you've added as your friend, who've all put their hand up and said, yes, send me a link. So now we've got that, we can kind of go to the next page, which is, in my opinion, the most important. So what we're going to do on this page is full page, and we're going to have a column in there like we showed you, 1 column, and then in there we've got a headline in there. What we're going to do is add another row, and we'll make that 2 columns, move this across, and a little bit more technical this time. We're going to put a margin at the top of 20, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to actually put a border on. So it's got a border around that box, and then what I'm going to do is just clone that twice. In fact, what I'm going to do is do this. I'm going to copy the headline down over here like this, and I put step 1, right? This makes it easier. Move that over a bit, and now I'm going to clone it. You see what I've done there? So it just speeds up the process. Step 2, step 3, and then if you want down below, you can put your other row with your sub headline with like copyright, whatever it is. So you put your terms and conditions and a bunch of stuff. So what I'm going to do on this page is say, thanks for registering. Your seat is reserved. Please follow the steps below to confirm your spot. Right? It's call to action, but I need them to follow these steps. So the first step, the first thing that I'm going to do in a sub headline, and then I'm just going to have a bunch of stuff, right, that they're going to do. And this close that down. Need that. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to have some text in these little steps. So step 1, right, is check your email now for the confirmation link, and spell that right, and Zoom link, right? So there you can put some more context. This is going to take place on Zoom, and we could put in there something around. So we'll do it on this one, right? So we'll do it on the next one. Next one, look out for, I'll do it this way. This is different. Please reply to the email to let me know you have received it, and look out for reminders. And you can put like, remember we start promptly on Saturday at whatever time it is. And then on the third one, download your Canva template in advance, right? with a little smiley face, and you can do like click here. Now, you can actually become an affiliate of Canva, right? So if you build a template in Canva and these guys don't use that, you can, or affiliate of Photoshop, you can put a link there to your affiliate link with your template, right? And then when they've signed up, even before the thing starts on Saturday, they've already given you money because they've signed up as an affiliate, right? And if you convince them on that day, right, they'll already have the thing, they'll already be giving you recurring money. So that what I've done there is like real simple. It's a little bit crude, but this would work. And if you want to make that narrower or wider or different colors or whatever it is, that's cool. But the whole point is that folks are going to come to your link, which ClickFunnels will give you, which is at the top of there. So you copy that link and you go and inbox it to everybody who said yes. They're going to go to the page, they're going to get a reminder what it is, and they're going to put the name and email in, right? Is that like, we're on time, we've still got 4 minutes. So what I would then do is just say, hey, I want a workflow, this webinar, new test, whatever. And then on opt-in, so when they opt in, they put their name and email in, we're going to send them an email, right? This is like the coolest thing ever. So that's on opt-in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tag the contact, and the contact's going to get one of my tags, which I've already put in my contact thing. So we'll call these VIPs. So we create the steps. So when you've opted in, you get a tag on your name that says VIP. This could be macro guide, this could be first training, whatever it is. And then we're going to go on here and we're going to send them an email, and we're just going to use this email, and we're going to put your seat is confirmed. Please reply. So this is like, we'll call this 001. And then from address, you choose your email address, and you press that. Right. So now you can go in here and you can edit your email, and real quick, you're just going to write like what you need. It's like you don't have to do anything clever in this, right? You're gonna write them some stuff. So what you do is go into this thing. I know that thing sometimes when I squish the screen up, it looks a little bit weird, but I've got to do it to squish the screen. But what you can do is put like merge tag, contact first name. Thanks so much for joining my free training. Please click here. 5 minutes before we begin, and then I put I will email you again, a reminder. The meeting is on Zoom. Look out for the link. Please reply and let me know, one, what you hope to get out of this, two, that you have the email, three, about your business. See you there. Susan, right? So that's the email that's going to go out automatically, and I'll just take that back up to the top there. So it's like that move now anywhere. So save that. So now what we've got is an email that will go out as soon as they opt in to that thing that takes them to a page that tells them that they need to go check the email, hit reply, and then download Canva. And then what we're going to do is literally build out the webinar. You're following the script in the book, and this is going to take about an hour, and you're going to use a combination of screen share, and you're going to use, show your stuff, but try and keep it in the context of the script, because yeah, you want to show them a little bit of stuff. You're not going to teach them too much. But what you're then going to do is transition to an offer that said, look, if I could show you, right, not only how to use these basic things, but imagine if I could give you a stack of cool stuff right now, would it be worth X amount of money? And then you build a little stack, which I guess we can get in tomorrow, and then have an order form where you can actually take their money for your first ever little mini product online that's all about teaching people the basics of the things you've showed them in the 30-40 minute training. Does that kind of make sense? Because you built a full in 15 minutes.
Oh man, it makes so much sense. And thank you so much, Danny, for putting all of this together. And I know that there's so much more that we can talk about. It's really tough for us to squeeze everything in, but I know that, the people are watching have limited time. So do we. We have other things that we do in ClickFunnels as well. But Danny, this information has been so valuable. Really, really appreciate it. And I love watching how you do this, because you have people like you that help in the Facebook group all the time. People that offer their own services, and people that have been using ClickFunnels for years for their own businesses. You were able to put this funnel together in a matter of a few minutes.
Oh yeah, it's like, well, that's like crazy. But you can do it too. It's like, I didn't like, that wasn't a cutaway video. We literally did that live. And people say, oh, ClickFunnels 2.0, it doesn't work. It's like, that works. And I could literally now like launch that thing. And see, man, I built that in my account because I've got something super top secret, and I was like, oh, I need to do it on that side. I've got something open in the ambassador thing, and the wires are all hanging out right now, and I'm doing something, and I'll show you that in a second. But I can transfer that over, because I can't share that, because then I'd be self-promoting in the group, which is kind of wrong. The funnel, we can package the funnel up, and I can do that in literally 30 minutes. But the point is, if you don't do that in your video, right, on your live, the funnel's irrelevant. But what you've basically done is you've gone into a group, you've made some friends, you've showed them some cool stuff that's hooked them in, they like it, you've asked, hey, you've talked to them, you've engaged with them, you said, hey, if I show you how to do this stuff on a quick live training next Saturday, would you be interested? And they're like, yeah, cool, send me a link. So you just send them that simple page. And the thing is, right, if you went out there and paid $5,000 to some funnel guy or whatever, and there's, some are cheaper, but I wouldn't go so low. Maybe you spend $20,000, right? You're going to buy this webinar funnel. It's all singing or dancing. What you've done is you've squeezed yourself right up into the top of the margin. So the only way up from there is limited, and the only way to go really is down. So you spent all that money and time thinking this is the next big thing, and 10 people turn up and only 2 buy. That's a great result, but you spent a lot of money, so you're never going to break even. With this thing, it's like people know that you're coming in at a level, so you can grow with the folks. And if you go out there and you got all 10 people or all 20 people to give you $27 at the end of this thing, like, imagine what that would do for you and your, like, Susan right now, right? Because this is not like, the 2 Comma Club thing. This is get yourself moving with your first funnel in an hour and 30 minutes. That's where my mind is, because if you could then come back from Saturday and think, whoa, people bought this thing, and now I've got a members area, now I've got people, and now I've got a group, and now I've got all this stuff going on, you damn sure you'll make your next funnel better, and you build it better, and you're going, oh man, I just have this custom code that does this thing. People get caught up too much on the design element, when really it's the words out of your mouth that's important. And the perfect webinar tells you exactly what to say, how to say it. And it'd be cool tomorrow if we could just build out a quick stack, because look, I'm more than confident that I could go to some macro photography group literally as we are doing this, and that's kind of wrong and probably unethical, but we could, nothing in my mind that says we could not actually be in a group, commanding attention, giving this link, getting real leads, and get them on that webinar. Because who doesn't want to know how to make a cool photo like that with your logo in the corner so you can make more money? It's like, oh, wow, that's amazing, dude. Let's see how you do it. And if you make that fun and exciting and energetic, and you get to the end and you say, well, look, we've covered a lot, right? That's the thing, the question. So let me just ask, if you could put logos on your photographs and you knew that was going to increase the value, and you could not only sell them at market, you could sell them online, do you think you've got a better chance of success? They all go, yeah. And you say, well, look, can I spend 5 more minutes just to show you something that I've put together that just makes it super easy for you? And they go, yeah. And you say, right, here's what you're going to get, right? So I've put this little thing together. It's called Macro Mastery. And inside of Macro Mastery, you're going to get 10 Canva templates, right? So you can just use any of these templates. They've got different logos all ready to go, and they're already in your Canva account. And that's worth, well, look, if I was going to design these things, that's worth like, I don't know, 47 each. So it's worth $470, right? And they give you all of those. And they're like, whoa, this guy's amazing. And you're like, right, I've also recorded 2 longer videos that will show you exactly how you put these things together. And not only how you do that, how you can also start taking these and printing them on bigger canvases without you losing your resolution, right? So we're going to upscale these images so they're better and they spread out on bigger sizes so you can sell for more money at the market. And we're going to put that in there as well. So you're going to get the Canva templates and you're going to get the 2 videos. But what I'm also going to do is I'm offer you some bonuses as well, right? And if you ever watch Russell Brunson, you've seen how he does this. So you're going to say, right, as a number 1 bonus, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on the phone with you, right? And normally this is going to cost, like, I can't do this for too many people, but because there's only 10 people on the call, if I spend 30 minutes with you, help you with the templates, we go on screen share, we figure all this stuff out. I don't even know what that's worth, right? But I'm going to throw that in as well. So you've got the templates, you've got the videos, and you've got some time with me, and I'm going to give you these other couple of bonuses as well. I'll give you some other stuff that I think you need. I've got these little cool tools and things that are just going to help you, and they'll give you a checklist so you know that you can cover all these things off, right? And all of that combined is worth like $1,000, right? So if you're going to buy all this stuff, it's worth $1,000. But what I'll do, because you're on my first ever training, I'm not going to charge you that. We'll do it for $47, right? How does that sound? Well, you've watched, you've engaged, you got to the end, you know, it's like, right. So look, you've got a couple of choices. We're going to end this right now. And look, you can take this, you can pay $47. We'll jump on a call. I'll give you all of that stuff. Or you can go back to doing what you were doing previously. What do you think people are going to do, right? Because that's like 10-second perfect webinar. You don't need to spend an hour, but would you buy that? It's like, but I've stacked that up in my head. Like, I don't know, Susan. We made her up yesterday, right? But now Susan's like, I don't know, is she viable? She can do this stuff? You can set this out. And like, do you think this would work? It's how you apply the stuff.
Right.
Is
I love it, man. And, you know, I think, Danny, you convinced yourself that we should actually, you know, launch this funnel for real, which is...
Who said we should launch this thing? It's like...
we might as well, right?
I think the thing, I don't know, we're running over slightly, Andy, but I think the thing is there's so many folks who really could help people who are angled on trying to get money first. They're not telling a story. They've got a blunt hook. The story's like non-existent. They're going straight in for the money. They want people in the DMs. It's a big bunch of crazy stuff that no one else can see. And they're having to repeat that process over and over and over and over again. Whereas like, look, you just apply the stuff and you could do it the right way. Even if you've only got 10 people, right? You could sell all 10 people a $47 thing using this process with 2 pages inside of ClickFunnels. But then on your next thing, further up your value ladder, they've got them on the email. You're like, hey guys, would you fancy sharing this link and we can get a few more people on the, oh man, come on. It's like, I don't know if my brain works in a different way to other people because I live and breathe this stuff, right? But if that helps, and I know Loris is saying he can't believe there's not 10,000 people watching this. If there was 10,000 people watching this, I probably would sell something for ClickFunnels, right? And look, the reason there's not 10,000 people watching it is because unfortunately there are folks in this group using it as like their own private job board, right? And they're not doing the hook. They've not got a good story. They're trying to get people, and people are just like, so when you see the gold, people will start coming back. And that's what we're trying to do here, Andy, right? Is give the gold, we'll drop the goods, we'll deliver the value, we'll over deliver. That's what it's all about. But I don't want you to come and pay me, right? It's like, just let's make people go out there and understand it. And if we can do that, then I'm happy.
That's awesome, buddy. So thank you to everybody that's been watching. I think right now is probably, I know that we went a little bit over. One of the things that I want to do is let you know about what we're going to do tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah, so tomorrow we have James Curran, who's one of our other ClickFunnels ambassadors. You might have seen him go live in the group every so often. And one of the things that we're going to do is James really wanted to talk about courses and memberships. So what he's going to do tomorrow, he's going to explain a new type of strategy called the linchpin strategy. The linchpin strategy is, well, I'll let him explain it, but it's something that you really, really need to, watch tomorrow. James is really, really excited about this strategy. And in ClickFunnels 2.0, I know that there's a lot of people that don't know that you can actually have a membership or you can have courses in ClickFunnels 2.0. This is a really powerful feature in ClickFunnels 2.0. We're really excited about it. We would love to see more people create courses. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. He's going to talk about the value of adding a membership, some type of continuity program to your funnel, to your offers. And so I'm really excited to have James on with us tomorrow. And Danny, are you going to be joining us as well?
Yeah, we'll jump on and we'll set it up and we'll do the stream thing and we'll just kick back, and I've kind of pre-loaded that in a little sense because I said, hey, get the Canva thing. And if they'd signed up for Canva, that would have been recurring revenue. And James is just going to take that to a whole new level. And there's some exciting stuff coming down the pipe very, very quickly, coming to a funnel near you. So it's like perfect webinar is always in my mind will be the daddy of, you know, you watch a Russell Brunson pitch that doesn't include that, and when you see it, you're like, oh man, and you're still giving money. The linchpin is the next thing that you kind of need to be applying to your business. And if you go into Funnel Hacking Live, funnelhackinglive.com, you get your tickets, you're going to have your minds blown. But I do know from rooting around in the, you know, in the corridors of the you know, ClickFunnels community behind closed doors and some stuff that we saw last week, that linchpin is going to be a big thing that you guys really need to grasp. So Andy, look, it's been a pleasure. We'll do this every day, do it every hour, do it every whatever you need to do, man, because it's like this for me is what people need, and the group is the place to do it. So yeah, super excited, can't wait. Look out for James tomorrow.
Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for everybody that's watching. I think we can finish up there, Danny.
Yep.
And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care.
Yep. See you later, everybody. Bye.